Hello and welcome to my video on the changes to Employers' National Insurance and the Employers' Allowance recently announced in the Chancellor's budget. Now, today I'm going to take you through two case studies of two different fictitious landscaping businesses of different levels, and we're going to talk about how the changes are going to affect these two businesses. But first, I just want to run through what the changes are. So I'm just going to scroll down, and down here we've got some the key changes. So firstly, the rate of Employers' National Insurance has increased. So currently the rate is calculated at 13.8%. It's going, in the next tax year, it's going up to 15%. So that's going to have a negative effect on your business. It's going to cost you more to employ your employees. The second thing, the actual threshold before you start calculating the employer's national insurance. So this is the amount your employee can earn before the rate of national insurance kicks in. Currently it's 9,100, so an employee will earn 9,100 before the business starts then having to pay employers national insurance on their salary. Next year it's going down to 5,000, so that's again another negative effect on the business. But point 3 is that the employer's allowance is actually going to increase. Now, the employer's allowance is how much you can accrue in employer's national insurance before you then need to pay it over to HMRC. So currently it's £5,000. So you can accrue or £5,000 worth of employer's national insurance before you actually need to pay it over. So basically it gets credited back to you. It will be calculated when whoever it is doing the payroll. The employer's national insurance will be calculated, but until it gets to £5,000, you won't actually start paying it. Now, next tax year, that's actually increasing to 10,500. Now, the case studies are so we can see how these three different changes will have what the overall net effect on the business, both businesses of the two different levels, what the net effect will be. So in business one, this landscaping business is a small landscaping business, and it has one director and it has one team with 3 members in. So the director's on £12,570, the basic director's salary. And then the team members are on different salaries. They're all different kind of levels of expertise and skills. So for team member number 1 is on 38,000, team member number 2 is on 27,000, and team member number 3 is an apprentice, and they are on £16,000. Now, in tax year 24-25, the national insurance, as we've just discussed, as I've just kind of shown you, is calculated on 13.8%, and that is with over and above the threshold, which currently is 9,100. Now, using those calculations, the total employer's national insurance bill for the year is £7,889, which is calculated down here. And then we take away the employer's allowance. So that's the business's allowance before they have to pay over the employer's national insurance to HMRC. So we take that £5,000 away. So that leaves a total payable, so total cost your business that you're going to pay to HMRC for this scenario of £2,889. In the next tax year 25-26, the threshold is going to decrease to £5,000, and the actual rate that national insurance has been calculated at is increasing to 15%. So with those, both those kind of negative effects, the total tax bill for the year has gone up to £11,035. However, the employer's allowance has also increased to 10,500. So if you take that away from the total employer's national insurance for the year, it leaves only £535 to pay over to HMRC. So in this instance, this business is actually going to be better off with the changes. Now, just to as a caveat here, the minimum wage is also increasing, and that is just another point to mention, just to make sure that everybody is on minimum wage. So just thinking to myself, this apprentice here, we might actually need to check and make sure that the salary does actually comply with minimum wage. And apprentices, as long as they're in the first year of their apprenticeship, they can be on the apprentice's salary, or they're under 18. The apprenticeship rate, sorry. So it's just worth looking at those minimum wage rates and making sure all your employees are on minimum wage. In the second case study, this business is a expanding landscaping business. So they've currently got 3 teams with 3 members. They're run by one director. And similarly, their salaries are in this column here. And then we've got the 2 comparative tax years. So we've got tax year 24-25, which we're currently in. That is a total Employers National Insurance bill of £27,264. However, the Employers Allowance needs to be assigned to that, or deducted from that, of £5,000. So the total amount payable to HMRC for this business in this tax year is £22,264. Now, next year, the total Employers National Insurance is going to go up to £35,785 from £27,264. But the Employers Allowance is going to increase to £10,500. So the total payable to HMRC is £25,285. Now, that is an increase, and it's an increase by £3,020. We've actually got the difference here in the table here. So now the business owners in these fictitious scenarios know what they are facing, they can make a plan to tackle it. So obviously in scenario 1, they're better off, which is great. In scenario 2, it is going to be a higher cost to the business. And if your business is bigger than scenario 2, it's going to increase the cost. So the bigger the business, the bigger the increase of the Employers' National Insurance cost to your business. So it's best to do these calculations, know what you're facing, and then you can make a plan for it. So like I always say, it's all about knowing your numbers. And once you know your numbers, then you are empowered to make good decisions for your business. So if you've got extra costs there in Employers' National Insurance next year, you can be thinking about, how are you going to tackle that? Are you going to increase your prices? Or could you look at decreasing some expenses? Or could you make some efficiencies in your business somehow to kind of compensate for that? But it's not until you know what these increases are going to be that you can actually start making a plan for it. I hope this has helped. And good luck in planning for your business for next year. Bye for now.